Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, I am Teacher Mike, and today we're diving into something super important for all of you who are doing the CELPIP test. How can you feel less nervous during the speaking part of the exam? Now, if you find this very quick tips helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this. Now, if you don't know me, I am Teacher Mike, and let's get into this. Number one, you have to know all the question types before you start. So the CELPIP speaking test has a variety of different question types, and understanding the style and format of all of these questions will make you feel more relaxed and prepared. Now, there are 8 question types, and once you learn them, it actually becomes very simple to get a good score. So you have 8 tasks. Task number 1, it is to give an advice to someone you know. So you need to learn the structure of giving advice. Task number 2 is to talk about something in the past. So of course, you need to use the simple past structure. Task number 3, you need to describe an image about what's happening in that image. Task number 4, you have to talk about the future. Task number 5, you have to compare and give recommendation. Task number 6, you have to answer or give advice in a hard situation. Task number 7, you have to answer an opinion question. And finally, task number 8, you have to describe, or let's say you have to react to an unusual image or situation. Now, the most important thing in order for you to feel less nervous when you are doing the CELPIP exam is to know what to do in each one of those parts. You cannot guess here. You cannot just open the test, try to read everything and try to understand it the first time you do the test. This practice is something that must be done at home. And that's tip number 1. Okay, so now tip number 2 is to practice in a very controlled environment. So you need to try to simulate the exam conditions as closely as possible when you practice at home. And this includes the timer of the exam of the speaking test. So you need to know how much time you have per question, how much time you have to think, and how much time you have to speak. Now, again, if this is something that is interesting, I can make another video on these details. Just let me know in the comments if I should make another video on the timing of each question. Now, the reason why this is so crucial is that it's going to help you feel completely comfortable when you are doing the exam in real time. One of the highest and most common mistakes that I have seen is that people never do this. Or before their exam, they do it once or twice at home before they actually book the CELPIP exam. Now, I am very picky about this, and I usually tell my students to do this 16 to 20 times minimum. Now, tip number 3 is something not a lot of you guys know and not a lot of you guys want to do, but it's something important, which is to get someone to help you on your speaking. There are 2 ways in which you could do this. One of the ways is going to be, let's say, a little bit more expensive, but it will also be more effective and quickly, right? But of course, a little bit more costly. And another way in which you could get help on your speaking, it's going to be cheaper, but it may require some extra effort on your part. So tip number 3A, let's say, is to get someone to look at your speaking and give you detailed feedback on your tasks. And this, of course, again, it is not going to be cheap, and depending on how many speaking feedback you want, it will run you some cash. You know, what we do in our course, in our program, is that our students, they can get unlimited speaking and writing feedback. And if you want more info on that, of course, the link will be in the description. Now, another thing you could do, which would be cheaper, so let's say tip number 3B, if you don't want to get the feedback on your speaking, is just to look at successful speaking answers and compare them to yours. Now, this would be harder to find as well, because you're going to have to find online official answers, which outside of the CELPIP website, it's almost impossible. And of course, you would have to pay for the CELPIP website. But this is something that maybe can help you save some money if you're able to find that. Tip number 4. Tip number 4 is kind of a warning. Do not memorize templates or scripts, especially the ones you find on YouTube for free or some very cheap ones that you may find online on simple courses on Udemy or other cheap courses in general. There's a reason why you will have access to cheap or free materials, and the answer is always the same. They are not good. Every time you get something that is very cheap or completely free, you have to ask yourself, why is this free? Right? Why is this video free? Because I want you to like me so that you eventually become my student. Now, examiners on the CELPIP exam, they are always aware of the memorized templates and answers. And if you don't change the answer to make it a real answer coming from your brain, you will get a lower score, I can guarantee you. Examiners, they are trained to spot and find memorized answers. And these answers, they can come across as very unnatural, and they will negatively impact your score. And that is why you will need to learn something that we call frameworks, which is, of course, our tip number 5 here. So tip number 5, learn frameworks and not scripts. Now, what is a framework? I think that that's the most important thing you need to know. A framework is not a script, is not a memorized answer. A framework is a step-by-step in which your speaking structure will follow and you will have a special goal for each part. But it isn't a memorized answer. So, for example, a good framework is going to include your opening line. What is the correct opening line for this task? Task number 1 is one style, but task number 5 is different. Should I start with a name or with, hey friend? So what's the right opening here, right? That's the same thing for speaking and writing as well. Body. What is the right body for that task? The body will be different. In task 5, I need to have comparisons in my body. While in task 4, I don't need comparisons. I actually need to use future structure. So I need to understand what needs to go in the body each time. And then closing. What is the right way to close? Do I need to say anything special? Or sometimes is the closing even important for the task at hand? Because sometimes you don't even need a closing at all. So with the right framework for each task, not only you will not feel nervous, but you'll also be able to hit a 10 plus score every time, which is what hundreds of our students have done, which is something that I have done myself. So there you have it, folks. 5 tips to help you feel less nervous during the CELPIP speaking test. Now remember, preparation is key, and with the right strategies, you can absolutely get your score on this exam with confidence. So if you like this video, if you think this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and students who are trying to get their CELPIP score for Canada. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Thank you again for watching and good luck on your CELPIP journey. From your dear friend and teacher, Mike. I'll see you soon.